Hello and welcome everyone to the epilogue of Warhammer Quest Darkwater Act 1. So one of the things I wanted to do in between acts in this, and because I'm recording these videos before the game has been properly released into the wild, was to make sure that if people didn't want spoilers, specifically from this right here, the bonus cards, I didn't give them spoilers. So this is, you are opting in if you're watching this video by accident to having the prep for Act 2, the bonus cards, and all that stuff kind of spoiled for you. But also, because I like to put people in charge a little bit of the content that I make and give the GMG community some kind of like say in what I do, I wanted to use this video too to have us take kind of a straw poll and vote on what we're going to be doing as far as like the next like bunch of heroes that come out and the additional content that's in the box. So, first things first. What were some of the could have beens? Act 1's complete. We've just finished the Foulhoof's menagerie. Other ways it could have gone down, we have Foulhoof's sacrifice. In this one, there's basically an additional hero. And I like this story-wise. An additional hero you're finding being sacrificed because he's got like that heart in his hands and stuff, and you're trying to rescue them. What a great way to introduce one of the other heroes into the warband is by having them be like rescued from Foulhoof. So that was kind of a cool one that could have happened. And then Foulhoof's trap. In this one, the Blight Templars show up. So that's why you get the Blight Templar cards. This is the only case, and I think the only result in the entire act where they could be was in that final victory thing. But because we drew one which was Cankerborn, that's why I painted the Cankerborn before the Blight Templars, and I probably won't have to paint them until the next bit. So those can get put away. I do really like these little card sleeves that you get to store all your stuff in. So now that Act 1's complete, I'm just putting the boss cards on top, putting my mix thing through here, and I can seal this up, and the next time I want to play through the game, or if the kids want to play through the game, it'll be ready to go and stored in a neat little sleeve. So there's some organization in the box, which I really liked. There's just nothing for the templates and tokens, although the sleeve the dice comes in fits the hex terrain perfectly, the little like 2D terrain thing. So if you want to store it in that, you can. That's what I did. All right, so I already had opened these because one of my rewards from Act 1 was that I got the draw an Act 2 reward. So this is already pre-opened. And we have the Act 2 card deck here, which I've opened, but just sleeve, I haven't really looked through yet. And then this is just your keep your additional stuff in here. So all of your monster cards that you just need to store in between games go into this sleeve right here. So let's open some bonus cards. Do not open until you've completed Act 1. This is your final warning. If you don't want to see this, this is the moment that we get to do it. I know some people have just like totally unboxed the whole box set from the beginning, and I'm like, why ruin it for people, man? Like, let them opt in or out. All right, so end of Act 1 bonus cards. What do we get? So these are the ones I should look at, and I probably shouldn't touch the other ones. Once you've completed Act 1, you unlock the following cards. The equipment cards can be found in the small bonus card pack. You can now play these heroes in future campaigns. So first, Drasher Vorn, the Rampaging Beast. So here he is. It's this miniature right here. This is one of our options for additional heroes. His background is Chief of the Eric Clore, the hulking Drashar, is a mighty warrior of inhuman strength. He wields the Ebon Claw, an artifact that grants his tribe bestial power at the cost of turning many of them into mindless berserkers. Vorn's boisterous personality belies the struggle within his soul. The Ebon Claw has allowed his people to thrive for centuries, but now it must be cleansed, perhaps even destroyed to restore their humanity. So basically this like magic enemy has is turn everybody into monsters. Until that time comes, Vorn will use the relic to destroy his enemies. As he suffers wounds, the snarling chieftain grows more wrathful, snarling and raking the Ebon Claw across his flesh. At the height of his rage, he transforms into a blur of violence, crushing skulls and snapping spines as he hurls himself at his terrified foes. 12 wounds, D6 move, 4+ save, normal attack stuff, but he's got 12 wounds instead of 10, so he's got more wounds than everybody else. And then for each damage point inflicted on the hero, and each time an enemy is slain in their turn, this hero gains a Fury token, to a maximum of 10. Fury tokens are kept between encounters, so I'll probably just use a D10 for that. And then Rage-Filled Transformation, remove 10 Fury tokens. The hero can use 4 move and or attack abilities in any order, even if they're vulnerable, at a cost of 0 energy. So he does a Wolverine Berserker Barrage once he's got 10 damage. That's very cool. He hulks out. That's a neat like core ability. Then we have Jacobus Vine, the Jade Wizard, so just another 10 wound wizard. Kind of the same attack, slightly shorter range than Inara, 2 and 2 dice. And then for 2 power can summon a familiar, Whisper, which is this little guy. is a token. Remove Whisper from the battlefield, if applicable, and replace him in an empty hex within 3 hexes of this hero. So you get to spawn him out 3 hexes away. And then his always ability is Spiritual Locus. This hero can use his abilities other than move and struggle as if they were in the same hex as Whisper. So basically, Whisper is an arc node in War Machine terms. You can cast through him, you can attack through him. If this hero uses move or struggle ability while Whisper is in an empty hex, this hero can swap hexes with Whisper instead of moving. So you can basically jump to wherever Whisper is. That's neat. So you have a little 3-inch like teleport. And then Jacobus Vine would rather be relaxing in a woodland glade with his spite owl perched on his shoulder than taking the fight to Gelgus Pust. But this powerful Jade Wizard can never stand by while the health of the realm is threatened. He above all understands what would happen if the Eversprings were to fall into the Plague God's foul clutches. So he's Radagast Brown. Perfectly attuned to the nature of Garon, Vine can send lianas, branches, and roots snaking through to throttle Nurgle's minions, while his enchanted sickle cuts through flesh and bone as easily as a flower's stem. Jacobus can even commune with the land to bring forth an arcane spirit he calls Whisper, a swift and sharp-fanged creature which he can use to channel his most powerful incantations. That's neat. I like that one. Interestingly, maybe more useful than Inara. Inara's Vine ability obviously is very cool. And then finally we have Kelthanor, the Forest Prince, which is our whatchamacallit, what are they called? Kurnothi rider. And I have a very cool version of this. I have the Wild Hunt one from Warhammer Underworlds, which you can swap in for this guy too, probably. So his move is D3+3. That's interesting. So he has a base move of 4, max of 6. He's a bit swifter than everyone else. Or reliably so. And then defense of 5, 12 health. So he's got more health, just like Drasher does. And he's got Galloping Charge. This hero can move through non-boss enemies. That's great. So you can't stick to him. That being said, a Cankerborn would still stop him. And then he's got a ranged attack. So a 6 range, 2 dice, 3+. He's got a cool bow and arrow. Veteran of 1,000 bloody skirmishes, Kelthanor of the Golden Hunt is not a being to take lightly. He and the Centroid kin worship Kurnoth, the warlike consort of Alariel, the Everqueen. To them, the pursuit of worthy prey is a spiritual duty. Thus it is that Kelthanor finds himself tracking the Prince of Swords with the aim of taking his rotten head as a trophy. Although aloof and often imperious, Kelthanor's word is his bond. Once he is sworn to fight alongside someone, he will risk his life for theirs without a second thought. His warhorn blasts clear and loud, and the Forest Prince controls the battle from afar. With detached yet deadly focus, Kelthanor sends a steady stream of arrows whipping through the air to kill one enemy after another. That's cool. And then we're into Act 2 bonus cards. So I think I'm actually just going to put these back and not look at them until we finish Act 2. And I know you can find a review somewhere out there that will show you exactly what those are, but why would you when you could just wait and enjoy the delight of surprise? So we have all these new heroes to do, and we have to decide as we're going to pick and which ones we're going to pick. And then we're going to set up Act 2 right now. So Act 1, easy, right? Like we've got our completion thing, and we know how to set up a new event. We have our reward cards already. I think this is where the Ebb and Claw and all these equipment things should be, because there should be cards, equipment cards in the deck list in here. Or maybe not. Is it the Ebb and Claw, the Hammer of Azer? No, it's not in here. I'll have to keep looking. Interesting, because I want to see what their weapons do. Small upgrade pack. Great success. It was in the bottom of the box. I hadn't seen it, so here's our upgrade cards for the additional heroes. I'm trying to use this thing and get it off as simply as possible without ripping it so I can reseal, because I'm sure there's stuff in here I don't want to see just yet either. End of Act 1 rewards. Ooh, these are our special rewards, and then we've got our special things. These are the end of Act 2 rewards, so I'll just put them right back. Let's see what we get for the end of Act 1, because we probably get to give these to our heroes as well. All right, so here's the Ebb and Claw. Inflict 1 damage this hero, gain D3 tokens instead of 1. That's cool. The Clarion of the Prince, this is pick any hero, move them 1 hex. That's a neat tap ability, so you can just move people around. And the Vine Root Staff, sorry. Pick a visible non-boss enemy and pick one of the following to apply to them for the rest of the battle round. -1 move or -1 from a dice characteristic. That's cool. So a debuff ability. Neat. And then these are our Act 1 rewards. Oh, wow. Okay, so we, the Power Fist. So I could just pick from these and give out 4 of them. So a Grant Crusher Gauntlet, pick a non-boss enemy next to the hero. For the rest of the encounter, subtract 1 from the defense. Oh my God. The Great Stag's Bow. If this hero's attack scores any crits, the target can move 1 hex further away from them. That's cool. So you push somebody away. The Woodspeaker's Reed. This hero ignores the effects of lethal and snare hexes for the rest of the turn. This is part of the set for Jacobus Vine, but can be given to any hero. Kelthanor, Drolf Ironhead has the Grot Crusher Gauntlet. Oh, so there are some, this is a set basically that you could get. A Scepter of the High Lector. Use this when another hero would end their turn. Pick one of their expended core abilities and roll a die on a 4+ to refresh. That's cool. Ursid's Claws is for Drasherborn. He gets Lightning Claws. At the end of each battle round, inflicted damage on all damaged enemies next to him because he's just freaking out. Yeah, you can make him into Wolverine, or Sabretooth in this case. The Comet Caller's Standard. Pick a visible hex and roll 6 dice. For each 6, inflict a damage on the enemies within 1 hex of it. Wow, so you call down comets. That's a great ability. The Purifying Censer. Use this when a hero next to this hero would begin their turn. That hero's player gains a power. And then Scabbard of Saint Yondara. If this hero is vulnerable, heal 1. This is part of the set of Brent Tiles, but can be given to any hero. That's really cool. And there's a deck list. Once you have completed Act 1, unlock 4 of these reward cards at random. Shuffle them into the Act 1 reward deck. Comet Collar Standard, Great Bow. Equipment cards for 3 new heroes are also found here. See the large bonus cards for details. Once you've completed Act 1, unlock 4 of these cards at random and shuffle them into the Act 1 reward deck. Oh, interesting. So I would have had these. I'm just going to shuffle 4 of these out and get to pick from them because I had so many. I had 4 rewards I didn't get to draw because we only had 6 cards left. So this works out perfectly. So I get to hand these out at random. So 4 of these, and we'll just do this on camera, would have been the ones for having Unleash the Cankerborn. All right, so these are shuffled. Cut the deck. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what we got. Well, the Dwarf gets his gauntlets. Bren gets her scabbard. And then Jacobus Vine's Woodspeaker Reed is here. And we have the Scepter of the High Lector. So that's neat. So definitely giving that to Inara and that to Drolf. And then I think we do Scepter of the High Lector goes on Edmark. And then I guess we keep the Woodspeaker's Reed. We give that to any hero, and I think we could give that to Drolf too at some point and just change them around. That's cool. So there's our extra ones, and I'll divide those up into the heroes boxes as I see fit. So let's go on and make ourselves a second act now and see what we need to paint. Because the things that I have left to paint are obviously Pust, because he only shows up at random and 1 encounter in Act 1. I haven't painted my Blight Templars yet because they never show up at all in Act 1 unless you draw that boss card. And this is Act 2, Descent into Darkness. So our boss is going to be Belga the Sistwitch or Molgoth the Cleaver. These are our stats. Apparently both these guys will show up, so I'm going to have to paint these. So Belga, she's pretty cool. Move 3, defense 1, 6 health. 4 dice at range 7, hitting on 4, critting on 6s. That's crazy. Curse of Pestilence. Pick a hero for the rest of the encounter. For each damage inflicted on the hero, inflict 1 extra damage, then advance this action. Oh my god, she makes them like weakened. And then her special action is Rot Some Chanting. Heal D3 on this enemy, then randomly pick a hero and give them the Hesitant status card. Molgoth's just a beefcake. Move 2, defense 2, health 7. Oh, defense 2 is terrifying. 3 attacks, 3 plus 5 to crit, and then Throttle. Grievous Blow. His big giant arm grabs you. Take my strong hand. If the attack scored any hits, give the target hero the Throttled status card. And he can do 2 dice and a special action in this 4th activation. Oh, that's terrifying. He is super hard to kill. And then we've got, there's our boss cards, and then these are just the act cards, which I'll have to shuffle up. So we've got Belga's Labyrinth. So the final boss is the Witch. So we're going after the Witch. I'm betting Molgoth is like a mini boss in here somewhere in some of these cards. And that'll tell me what I need to paint next. So I gotta shuffle these up. These are gonna go into my additional bad guys section, and then this can go back after I've shuffled everything up. So I'm gonna just close my eyes and randomly shuffle the boss encounter and put it at the bottom. And then we'll I'm trying to cover it up so I'm not looking at the camera instead of looking at this. And then shuffle the crap out of these. These are not easy to shuffle. And like, you don't want to sleeve them either. I've already had them do a little bit of like, not warping, but like, they're not sitting as flat as they used to because they're just cardstock. All right. And then I'll cut this in the middle here and we'll deal out, I'm gonna deal them sideways. 1, 2, 3, 4, as a way of like kind of shuffling them. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then I'll just put this pile on top of this pile. And there's our deck. The Ritual of Purification is our first one. Interesting. So there's our Descent into Darkness. There's our Act 2 adventure that we have to do. In the depths of the Jade Abbey, your party comes across a chamber in which painful rites of purification were once practiced. A sign of an ancient Garanite script promises those of pure heart who pass through the cleansing flame shall know true enlightenment. Dare you enter the chamber and seek the blessing of the gods. This is our first possible event. So that's set up. We got some rewards to hand out to everybody. And you guys need to pick who am I replacing and who's jumping in. Maybe that's too complicated. I think it's just going to be, they all serve a role, right? So like Jacobus would replace, let's say, I think Jacobus would replace Inara. Or they have to replace something similar. So either the ranged characters would replace a ranged character, either the fighting characters would replace a fighting character. So if you pick Drasher, you want him in, he's gonna replace either Brenner or Edmark. Kellinor and Jacobus will replace either Drolf or, whatchamacallit, for this act, Drolf or the other one, Inara. So you guys get to say in the cards which 2 you want. So you vote for 2 at a time. Pick 2 of these 3. They're the ones I'll paint up next for this adventure. Obviously I need to paint up some, I've got 4 more, what is it, pox wretches. I haven't needed more than 10. I painted 7 initially. Then when I painted my second Cankerborn, because I painted 7 and a Cankerborn, then I painted, because I was just trying to like break up my painting, I painted the other Cankerborn and 3 more. So I have 4 left I haven't painted yet. And then obviously I'm gonna have to paint the Cyst Witch and at least Gelgus Pust. And I'm gonna paint at least 1 Blight Templar to start off with, because I know that there's at least 1, like the cards are already in my deck from Act 1 because there was a chance they could show up. So I'm gonna start off, I'll just paint 2 of these guys to get them done. And then all I have left is two of the Blight Lords, or Blight, whatever they're called. Blight Kings, Blight Wardens, Blight Templars. Blight Templars and Pus left after that. So these 4 Pox Wretches, 2 of the big guys, including Mogoth, who's a hero, and then the Cyst Witch, and my heroes. And like, that's not a lot of lifting. I mean, I probably don't even need the Pox Wretches. I can probably just wait. But that's 3 models and 2 heroes. So 5 more models to get into the second act because the bulk of it's done. Just kind of escalating through Act 1. So there we go, guys. We've set it up. The epilogue is complete. We're pushing into a Ritual of Purification. I've got my, 7 models, that's Nurgle's number, which is perfect, to paint up that I know I need, because I should just finish off the Pox Wretches, mostly so I can remember what colors I used. And then these 3 kind of like pseudo character models to paint up, and then you're gonna tell me which of these 2, and we'll save the last one for Act 3, and he'll replace somebody, and we'll pick from the 6 basically who's gonna be going with them. So everyone will get used eventually. The final hero will be like an unleveled new hero that we meet going into Act 3. They always have to have a 3rd act new character. And the painting will be basically complete by the end of Act 2. So big thanks for watching. We'll see you for more Warhammer Quest Darkwater starting in, I want to give everybody at least a week to 2 weeks. So probably 2 weeks of Kill Team, which will put us into past Christmas. So we'll do a New Year's Eve special of more Darkwater as we kick back into Act 2 with whatever you guys have told me is in my painting queue. So big thanks for watching. We'll see you for more of this then. Don't mash.